you're rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me.
Hello.
Hi.
So I'm here with Moud Sabra, and he plays Jake in Secret Swipes and Lies. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
And so we're just going to jump right in and tell us a little bit about your character, Jake.
Jake Stevenson, born in Virginia,
Mhm.
South of Virginia, grew up alone for about 7 years. Enjoyed the lonely child life for a little bit, and then sister came along, and that's when he started, experiencing changes.
Mhm.
And from that, he refused to go to college as to protest, and made a few dumb decisions like most young men do.
Mhm.
And then after that, devoted his life to therapy, to become a therapist and help those that were basically going through what he just came out of.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what made you want to play Jake?
I found a lot of similarities between him and me,
Okay.
in the sense of getting fulfillment from guiding others
Mhm.
through what he lived through, and that's the part that I really connected with. And then I wrote pages on pages of what exactly his journey was,
Okay.
and where it came from. And it came from childhood trauma, a lot of it, which I happen to be knowledgeable about, and the psychology, also the fact that he's a therapist, and the script was written in a way that there's a lot of mind play, even though
Right.
on the surface it's just very subtle. um, it was a lot of, it was a big challenge with the subtext, is that you have to be following protocol as a therapist, you be following policy, you have to be acting, have a certain behavior and say certain things, but you still have to show the true meaning of what you're saying. So that was the challenge, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. We were editing yesterday, actually, and I do remember it because it was episode 5, where like everything really kind of culminates.
Mhm.
And I remember saying to Yi, there was one take that was already like in the timeline. And I was like, can I see the other choices? Let me just see. And then there was one, I was like, oh, look at that tension in his forehead. The other one doesn't have that.
Mm.
Let's use this one, because we see that tension there.
Mm.
It's like, and it's very subtle, but it does make a difference because it's your demeanor. And you said the line not that much differently, but with that tension,
Mhm.
it's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like he's trying to hold it together.
Yeah, and that was great about it, because I couldn't show a lot of what I was meaning to say.
Right.
So I couldn't really feel it in behavior, so I had to feel it. So I guess that came out in tension in other ways. So it was, yeah.
There were certain moments also where like you used like body language a little bit, that I was like, no, let's use that one, because I like how he's using his body.
Mhm.
At this point, we see like he's really trying to hold it together, but it's getting harder,
Mhm.
And so like to build upon that whole, concept of what you're talking about, it's like not being obvious, being subtle,
Mhm.
but not so subtle that, it just goes, over everybody's
Yeah.
head. Like, you see it in his body, and so you were really, really good about giving us moments where you were showing us with your body
Mhm.
what was
Wow.
happening,
Yeah.
you
Uh,
know.
yeah. I'm
So
glad, and honestly, having you as directing us on set, between scenes and telling us this is how, you know, the level of tension in the room right now, this is what's happening. And between scenes, you come and be like, he just hit you with the sword, hand back, and you helped so much in getting us, making it easy for us to get there too.
Right, because it was combat, you know, I mean, between these two, because like you said, it was something that you had been through. And so you were trying to help her. And her thing was, she realized that you had been through it. And sometimes when people seek help, we're not ready yet. So you're there, and then you kind of change your mind about how far you're willing to go, because you're not ready yet. Absolutely. And so I think, you know, so that's where we are with her. And so she's just going with her natural instinct. And so then there's this push and pull between the two of you. Yeah, especially that as confident as Jake has been in his career, seeing many patients, he started doubting the entire persona that he had, the entire facade, how sure he really was of, you know, this new life that he's living. What if it's all just a lie? Because she was successful in getting him to think that, and he still had to, you know, get her to see it, but he stopped believing in it himself. So that was even more of a challenge. Right, that was a challenge for the character, you know, and of course for the, you know, for you playing him. So yeah, so bringing us to the next question, that the main theme of Secret Swipes and Lies is the control, you know, and how that manifests in each person. And so how does that manifest in Jake? So Jake had a tendency of playing the victim. Whenever he's off guard, he believes that if he had a little bit more control growing up, 99% of the problems wouldn't exist. 99% of his problems. So right. That's where his obsession with control started. His father was very controlling with him growing up, and it had to do a lot with his backstory of his girlfriend and his father basically just saying, you know, this is what you have to do, which was good for him, but at the same time, it led him through a lot of pain. So right. He sees that if he had control over that situation, he would have ended up somewhere better, like he wanted to. And that's where he became, after his journey, of course, that's where he just made it a mission, almost subconsciously, to always make sure that he has control over the situation. His life is set up in a way where he controls everything. As adventurous as he is, there's still a limit, because he doesn't want to be too vulnerable in an uncontrollable situation. He can't be that unknowledgeable about. Right. I mean, even when you looked at his office, everything, it almost looks a little sterile, you know, like everything is just clean lines, and, you know, that's it, like clean lines, you know, white couch, gray, you know, I don't even know, like it was like gray art, you know, I mean, just, you know, that is like somebody who it's very like, boom, like this. Yeah, taking no chances, basically. Except, and I wanted to bring this up, there is this theme of the elephant on the table, and how Natasha had pointed out that it's the elephant in the room, you know, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Because there, you know, even in her room, I had elephants. There were these 2 photo albums with elephants I got actually from Thailand, with these wooden elephants on them. And then the bedspread was from Thailand, and it had these gold elephants. So all, of course, you know, with the trunk up, because if it's the trunk isn't up, it's not good luck.
Mm.
But let's talk about the elephant in Jake's room.
I just want to point out it was really funny because I mean I saw it there, but you didn't tell me what it meant or what you intended by it until like halfway through the first day of shooting, and then it just clicked, and I was sitting and I was like, wow, this is like my office supposedly, but it just clicked. I just realized that this is the elephant in the room.
Right.
But yeah, the elephant in his room is. Do you mean by with Natasha?
Well, yeah, in terms of with Natasha, because your elephant in your room is not the same elephant that's in her room.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's two different elephants in the room, but there are elephants in the room.
Yeah. His elephant in his room was I would like to say is his weakness, his vulnerability.
Mhm.
The elephant in any room that he walks into is how well he can hide that elephant of that man is weak to something
Right.
very easily. There's few strings that you can just pull to break him, and I think that's what Natasha succeeded doing.
Right. Exactly. Like he's right on the cusp. He
Yeah.
may not know it. He's one pull away, just pulled the wrong way, and he's unraveling. He's jumping off the wrong end, and so yeah, that is definitely his elephant in the room. And it was, yeah, kind of like a wink wink, with production design to kind of like the elephant in the room. Because I saw it when I bought it and I was like, it's kind of ugly.
Really?
Well, it's not, I shouldn't say it's ugly. Maybe it's just not my taste. Like,
I
it's
guess
go with anything in my house.
Oh, okay, but it was really good. It complemented that room, the office, really well.
Yeah, no, it's, and that's why I bought it, because I thought about that and I was like, well, no, but actually it's perfect for the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, because I had left it, like I picked it up, put it back, left, came back, and then I was like, okay, and I'm gonna buy it.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, all right, and I still have it. It's sitting right here on the desk, waiting for me to find some place to put it.
I would gladly take it. My elephant.
Okay, well, maybe if I see you, if I remember to have it with me, or if maybe I'll try to get it to you.
Keep it on you at all times. Who knows? You might run into me.
It's not that big, so it's not like it's a really big elephant. But I also like elephants. So that was another reason why. But it was this whole elephant in the room, and only you two had elephants in your respective rooms. And it's good that, it was you and her in your room. So, and her elephant is really like her own personal elephant that you're kind of helping her with. But the fact that the elephant in the room is for her is that she's not ready. That's the elephant in the room. She's going to this therapy, but she's not really ready to, like any addict, you have to hit rock bottom. That's her elephant. She's not at rock bottom.
Yeah.
So she doesn't get to rock bottom until, act 3 of the feature film.
She wasn't humbled yet.
No, not yet. Not at all. But, it was a first step. And with any addict, sometimes it takes a couple of times of seeking help.
Yeah, of course.
And so it was a first step. She understood she needed some help, but she still wasn't ready. So that's her elephant. And yours is like, maybe you need a little refresh with your own therapy. And she's going to help you find out.
Yep.
And so there you go. All right. So you kind of talked about like how you and Jake are similar.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get to the really fun questions now,
Okay.
and are like, the silly questions. So
Absolutely.
what color of the color wheel is Jake's aura?
Mm. Let's say orange, orange yellow.
Okay, orange yellow.
Yeah,
Why?
it has to do with being independent, creative, thoughtful, but at the same time uncertain, afraid.
Right, the yellow, because that's the yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, he has the good of the orange, and which is interesting because growing up, my room, guess what color was painted?
Orange.
Yep.
Okay.
Again, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Mhm.
And if your character had a theme song,
A song, any song.
any song,
I
what?
had this one song on repeat while getting a character called "Survivors" by Passenger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Survivors. Okay.
yeah, by Passenger, a very good song. It talks about one of the chorus lines is like, "Are there any survivors?" Basically looking for people that went through similar journeys, and now he's on the
Right.
other end. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's a good song.
I like that. And what
I'm
is
sure you would agree if you listen to it.
I'm gonna look it up, and we'll hashtag it as well. Once when I edit all of this and everything, definitely hashtag the songs and give shout outs to
Yeah, absolutely.
all the musicians, all the artists. And what is Jake's spirit animal?
Spirit animal. I'd say hawk.
A hawk. Okay.
I'd
Why?
say, um, it has to do a lot with like self-awareness
Mhm.
and progress in life. There's this dream interpretation of if you see a hawk in a dream, that means that you're ready for the next step.
Okay.
Um, so that's kind of what I related. So I was very tempted to say something like cheetah or tiger,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's where I see it. Perspective for
Perspective.
yeah.
Yeah. Because maybe cheetah, I mean, maybe sometimes he is a cheetah,
Mhm.
but I think hawk is a good one for him.
I wonder what Natasha said.
I kind of like, I have to, do I remember what she said? Because it was, a couple weeks ago now.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, what did she say? I want to say, I don't remember. I'm going to have to look it
I'll
up.
watch it when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it.
Mhm.
I know like James, he's a fox,
Mhm.
and Savea said siren, and Josue, his was a couple weeks ago too, and I can't remember what he said either.
Mhm.
But
I bet you his was interesting. He's an
yeah,
interesting.
it is interesting, like, to hear what people say and the whys. That's why I like to, because it does reveal a little bit,
Yeah.
about what they think about their character.
Mhm.
And so what drew you though to doing the piece, other than like Jake the character? What about the piece did you, because you knew it wasn't about Jake,
Mhm.
per se, though it was kind of a little bit about him on the DL as well.
Yeah. It was mainly, it had a lot of challenges, and that's what I like, because there was a lot of just contests through
Mhm.
simple, subtle behavior and dialogue with 2 lines back to back, there was 1,000, in the subtext. And
Right.
that was really interesting, and also taking a opportunity to break down the facade that Tasha had as well,
Hmm.
through her character was interesting. It was a relatable story because it can also be applied to something that everyone experiences. It
Right.
doesn't necessarily have to be addiction, but it can. Almost everyone can find something in their past or in their life that connects to that story.
Right.
And I was just happy to be playing the one to offer guidance. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I also, one of the main things when I read the audition sides, off the bat, I noticed Jake's codependence.
Right.
And that's kind of what told it to me.
Right.
How codependent he is compared to me. I mean, how similarly codependent he is. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And like when we were editing this as well, a lot of the scenes in all the episodes, it's just you and Natasha.
Mm.
So that's a big challenge in the same room. It's not even like, you're in the cafe, you're
Yeah.
in there, you're in there, like it's you and her in the same room.
Especially that we're not necessarily moving a lot too. We're just sitting down. So
Right.
yeah, it had a lot of challenges. Just had to find things to work with. Yeah, it was great.
Right. And that I feel like was the biggest challenge for both of you as actors, but also for me as a director to, keep this moving,
Yeah.
So that it's still really interesting watching these two people, not doing too much either.
Yeah.
So as a director, it was really, really challenging, as well for me to, how do we keep it engaging, and so I didn't really realize it until when we shot those 2 days, and it's like, wow, like 2 whole days in this same, like you guys are sitting in the same spot. Now they were all at different times, but it's still 2 days you're sitting in the same spot.
Yeah, but also the fact that it was chronological helped a lot.
And I did Method to the Madness because of that reason. I felt like, well, why not? I think to help you and also myself, it just made sense to let's just knock this out from beginning to end, which, the audience, I'm sure many people in our audience know that most times films do not shoot chronologically. Totally shoot out of order, mainly by location, so whenever you have your location, you have to shoot out what we call shooting out the location. So luckily, it's like, well, half the script takes place in this one location, so let's just shoot it all in order, and I think that helped also for you guys to build. So it was almost like a play, not quite, but almost like a play.
Yeah.
And so, you could see where you were going. So yeah, that was very different.
For sure. Definitely. Yeah.
So that's it for this evening. It's 9:30. I'm hungry.
All right. Wait, it was great talking to you.
It was great chatting with you. definitely, like I said, we are getting in the halfway mark. So I think we can still keep our August launch time. So everybody, stay tuned and, keep an eye out for secret swipes and lies.
If you'd like to see more, you can become a member here on YouTube, or you can go to our Patreon page and subscribe at the Eternal City Productions Patreon page. Or you can show your support by tipping us with the Super Thanks button below.